Welcome back to our weekly market analysis. It's Henry here, bringing you the latest updates on SPY and QQQ along with other popular tickers. If you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that bell to stay updated with our daily and weekly market insights. Don't forget to smash that like button. I would appreciate it, and the YouTube algorithm would definitely help me push out this video more people, and then we can reach more people who are interested in the markets. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to start off with a weekly time frame, then we're going to make our way down to the daily time frame. So the first thing I'm going to point out is right here you do have a like a double bearish Harami candlestick formation on the weekly time frame. You have this one right here and you have that one right there. That is not a good sign. So all this really represents, the bearish Harami candlesticks, is just you have an inside bar, and it's just showing that price is consolidating. It is stalling out at a certain price point. The last one we had was over here. Well, we've had a few of them, but the last one that really meant anything was these over here. And then you did see a decently sharp downturn. Then we had this one over here. So I'm not saying that is something that's queuing up right now, but I'm just pointing to what these have led to in the past. Then you also have this one right here, and that just led to a one week pullback, and then you were back off of the races. Now, the next thing I'm going to be bringing up is you do have a bearish divergence right here on your weekly RSI, and that is something that has not been on the chart since all the way up here when you had this little one going from here all the way up to here, and then you had a 2-week decline where you then ran back up and then formed this larger bearish divergence. Then you had a triple bearish divergence here on the weekly time frame. That is just what I will point out. Now, the other thing I'll point out here on the weekly time frame is that we do have both pullback weeks off of decreasing volume, which just means, hey, there's not much behind those moves. We're going to need to see that pick up if you are going to see some continuation into this. All right, and I will note it's below average, but we did have a short trading week this week, so that was something to note. Moving over to QQQ. All right, so QQ actually also does have a do you have, no, you don't have, never mind, you don't have a bearish divergence going on in your RSI, but I will point out you had a bearish Harami candlestick formation here, and you almost had one right over here, which, you know, to me, that's showing the same thing. Price is stalling out, and that is not typically the best, you know, it's not the best look. So we're either going to have a consolidated period right here, or we're going to have a deeper pullback. And if we do end up having that deeper pullback, let's take it over to the daily time frame. What will I be watching for to see if that is going to be coming around the corner? I'm going to be watching this 20 daily moving average right here on SPY and QQQ. If price can get under there and sustain under there, or just even get under there, honestly, without you know, a decent bounce, like maybe we get under there for a day and then bounce right back up. Well, if you get under there and come up and, you know, reject off of it, could end up having something like this, where you have a, over here on SPY, I think this was a $30 decline. Well, that was 15, but then over here, you know, you fell 27 bucks. But before any significant bounce, you did end up having a $15 decline over here, and then you came back up to test it, and then you continued lower. So I will be watching for that. If we do end up getting under there and we cannot get back up pretty much immediately like we did over here, I will be looking for further downside. That is just something that is, you know, just I'm watching. Now, I will point out you do have, just like on the weekly time frame, you do have this daily bearish divergence on the RSI right there. And Friday, all right, let's talk about what happened Friday, guys. All right, so you had a bullish engulfing candlestick. When I made my video on my Friday update, which I'm just letting you guys know, those are intraday updates. The levels still will stand. It doesn't really matter when I put them out. In that video, I was pointing out that bulls needed to hold 441, this demand zone right here. If you were looking for a pullback, you were, you know, bulls want to see exactly this. All right, bulls did not see that. You go down to the 5-minute and the 15-minute. That's where I typically will be watching for these closes underneath these zones to signify, like, on the spot, like, you know, that's my quick analysis. That's how I see, like, hey, are we holding up? Or are we not holding up? Right here, you started getting your 15-minute close underneath there, and you did end up going down to the next demand zone. So even though I don't put them up after hours, because I do work from 4 to 10 p.m. each day, shout out to anyone working. I'm sure most people that are watching this video, you probably work as well. Well, I just, you know, that limits me from putting out a video after hours, unless I want to come home at 10 and get a video out by 11. But at that point, I mean, who does the best work when they're all tired? I certainly don't. So That is why I do put out the videos around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will do my best start putting those out around 3:30 just so we can catch most of the day. But nonetheless, the levels and zones will still be relevant. So what we are watching and talking about in the videos will always remain relevant. Now I'm going to come over here to Apple. So something I pointed out. Well, bulls wanted to hold this. This was also something I pointed out in this video. You want to hold this demand zone. Well, it was a supply zone. You want to flip it into a demand zone. You did not. You end up getting your close underneath it right here, and you fell again straight to the next demand zone. What I also pointed out in that video, which I mean we've been talking about this, Apple is going to be leading the market. All right, if you want the market to go up, you do not want Apple to be looking weak. You don't want that thing moving against you. Well, this time, you know, it started moving against you, and then you had your waterfall style sell off, and from this demand zone right here, you then fell another $3 into the low. So that was a thing, and same goes for QQQ. You started losing this over here, and I mean, I can only assume we're probably going to make a way down here. We're going to have to see what happens on Monday. But something I do actually want to point out here on Mr. VIX is it did close red alongside SPY. Now, let's just point this out, all right? So on Thursday, on the 6th, VIX spiked 20%. So that was a thing that was going on, all right? Well, on Thursday, all right, this is a $4.60 move. All right. Well, we just had a $4 move, and VIX did not move. Like it kind of moved going into the end of the day. You could see some of that. All right. And what moves VIX? What moves VIX up? Calls being sold and puts being bought. What moves? And these are short term. I believe 30-day calls and puts do affect VIX. And then yeah, what moves it down is calls being bought and puts being sold. So like the fact that VIX didn't really have a spike here is kind of sketch to me. That does not make sense. Just like this move over here was kind of sketch. I was like, hey, this is going to be the biggest day since the banking fiasco all the way over here. That was literally, you know, right around the corner, marking a bottom for the market. Just like that didn't make sense. I'm going to be honest. This also does not make sense. Now, we also do have a signal here on Mr. VIX with SPX closing red together. They closed red alongside each other, and that does give the probability that we will have an update on SPY and SPX over the following 2 trading sessions. So that is what I will be watching out for. But yeah, just something I thought I would throw out there. You did end up breaking out of this consolidation period, so we could end up seeing some volatility here in Mr. VIX, but you know, we all have seen Mr. VIX. It has been beaten down like a rabid dog. So it hasn't really been too relevant to us here on the channel, which is why we just have not been covering it too much. I will point out, you had a bullish engulfing candlestick and you closed out with a gravestone doji candlestick. And then if you come over to QQQ, you have a shooting star candlestick. And what are these supported by? Heavy volume. All right. QQ didn't have increasing volume, but it was above average volume over here. And then SPY had the increasing volume to support this candlestick. These are both bearish reversal candlesticks. And just the fact that we had a bullish engulfing candlestick across the board on almost everything. IWM didn't, but RTY did over here. We had, I think on the Dow, we did have one shaping up. Yeah. All of these had bullish engulfing candlesticks, and you know, you just completely got wrecked on these. All right, like this over here. No, we had we just had bullish candlesticks in general, just completely turn around on Friday. So I'm just gonna say right now, that is a momentum killer. That is not something you want to see if you're betting on the upside. If you are a bull, I'm going to show you what I will be watching for right now. Let's take it down to the 4-hour time frame. All right, so we do have this bearish engulfing candlestick on SPY and QQQ to close out the day. What do we have over on IWM? We have a bearish ramming candlestick. We'll talk about IWM in a sec. This is not like a good look to end off the week. Now, I understand it's Friday. You're going into a new week. We have CPI next week, so maybe there's uncertainty around that. I'm not sure. That most likely will be providing a market move in one direction or the other. So, you know, that's something we'll be paying attention to and talking about. But look at this over in SPY. You literally closed right at your demand zone, which is just not something you want to see, all right? You don't want to see a move start and then return back to that start. It's 100% to me. It's just a signal of weakness. It really is not the best look. And we also do have this double top going on the daily time frame that we called out over here. I personally, you know, when I was making Friday's video, I thought like, holy cow, this thing is like clear as day. Bulls are stepping up to the plate. We got increasing volume to back these green candlesticks going on. All right, if you come over to, the 30-minute time frame, guys, things were looking pretty good. All right, we were, I think, 0.3% off of the high here. I was like, oh, yeah, you're at least most likely going to go up and test that. That looks clear as day where price just wanted to go straight to. Well, everything changed. Now, I don't know if that's the thing that got released regarding Ukraine over the weekend, or not over the weekend, but yesterday. I have absolutely no idea what really caused this. If you guys do know any news catalyst that, came out and, probably was behind this move, please let me know down in the comment section. I would love to know. But yeah, all right, because I have absolutely no idea. For all I know, a big player just sold off a massive position, and that is, the only thing that I really can think of that would cause this move. But yeah, you closed out with a bearish engulfing candlestick on QQ and SPY over here on the 4-hour time frame. So I will be watching the 4-hour time frame because that is where we held up over here. That is where we held up over here. If you come down to the 30-minute time frame, which is also another time frame that I like watching, you got under there. So that's why I will be watching for a 4-hour close underneath here to signify that we probably are going to be going a little lower. And how much lower? You could come all the way down to 432, guys. All right, you get this 430 to 432 demand zone that held up over here. That's what, when we were rallying over here, I was saying like, hey, even if you're a bull, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see price return to here to valid, like make the, verify, validify, I guess that's the term we could use, validify the move that was going on here, the bull in the bullish direction. Then after that, we could make our way up to 448.50 to 450. I did take off the be open to level just because we all know that level's there, and we might as well just watch the supply zone that is all the way up there at 448.50 to 450. But guess what, guys? All right, we have this higher low so far. If you come up here and break the high, if you get a daily close above that high, that that will solidify that is a higher low. If not, I'm just saying, if you start coming underneath here, that is not a sign of strength. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me on that one. It's just like we don't have a good look going into the next week. That is just how it is. It sucks if you're on the bull side. It's like, but it's also like not the best if you're on the bear side either. We are in a trading range at the current point in time between 432 all the way up to 444. So if we do end up breaking underneath here, we very well can just bounce around in this range right here. And we're going to have to wait for a break to really have some confirmation here of which direction is next. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, I will be watching for a close underneath this 438 level to signal that we could be taking a trip down to 435 and then down to 432 over here on SPY. Over on QQQ, and keep in mind, guys, you are still in an uptrend. You will not be like I can't say it's going to be safe short, and just like it wasn't safe short on there, wasn't safe like the whole time. You just have not been able to short this thing. This thing's been a monster. So if you do want to short, I really would be waiting for confirmation to break underneath 432 right here. All right, if you put down a you put in the chart a lower low over here after a double top in here, then that's gonna, first of all, if you close underneath here, that's your neckline for the double top we got going on right here. So that would, we could put a target on the board after that, but just like general rule of thumb here, all right, you would have that going on right here, and that could bring you all the way down to 420. That would be a thing. I'm not saying you do go down to 420, but if you do end up having a daily close underneath here, then that would show, yeah, that's probably what's, we're going to be going down in that direction. But yeah, if you come down here and break that and then you swing back up, there could be your shorting opportunity here, because that signals weakness right here. It signals maybe we have a change in trend going on here. So if you get any pullback, it could just be a shorting opportunity, and you could be going off the races to the downside. Over on QQ, guys, I will be watching for a close underneath this 365 to 364 level right here. If you can break 364, then, we could be taking a trip all the way down here to 362 and then all the way down to 358. Not saying these things are going to happen. I'm just pointing out what I see on the chart. And that's just what we're going to be doing here on the channel. That's just how we do things. There's that. Now let's talk about IWM to finish things up. IWM, you came down to the bottom of the range. You bounced all the way to the top of the range. Congratulations if anybody got calls on that and was taking your profits towards the top of the range. All right, you definitely caught a big move there. And I will say right now, IWM looks like the strongest out of SPY, QQ, IWM, and DIA to me. It just looks like, you know, you see it's not getting the massive beating that we just saw on, I mean, it did fall into the end of the day, but by no means was it, you know, this what you got going on over here. These, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, all of them, they look so bad. They really do. Like, look at over here on Mr. Apple. You got a 4-hour bearish engulfing candlestick as well. Something I'll point out on Apple right now is you did close out the week with a daily bearish harami candlestick formation right there, and you had one up here. Now, something I'm going to point out is that you started rebounding here in Apple, bulls started stepping up, and you immediately got slammed down. Has that happened any other time? No. All right. I mean, you do have this bearish harami candlestick formation after you had this bullish engulfing, so just like that one. But you could see we made some waves here. All right. Over here, you didn't make some waves. All right. You kind of just came back, and it's not looking too strong over there. Over here, you had the bullish engulfing candlestick. You just went off to the races. All right. All of these rebounds, they didn't just result in, you know, bulls just getting slammed down, dunked on by the bears going into the end of the next trading session. So just things that are different that are happening on the chart. But again, just like SPY and QQQ, you do want to be watching this 20 daily moving average. You could see, you know, you could spend a day underneath it, but in reality, this is, at least how I see it, this is going to be your, this is how I use the 20 daily moving average. This is your, like, you know, your trend. This is your trend moving average. You can use the 9 moving average. We could put that on, but that's not going to show you the overall trend. That is going to show you like the short-term moving average, that if you're just grinding up higher, this is where you can expect to see some bounces. But 20 daily moving average, that's where you need to see some bounces. All right. That's how I look at that. Come back over here to IWM. All right, so on the daily time frame, you did end up getting rejected by the supply zone. They pushed you underneath it, but on the 4-hour time frame, you actually flipped that. So I just want to point out, you are kind of just, you have a chance here, all right, on IWM to push back up. You want to see a move above this 186. What was the high over here? 186.50 in order to have a shot at coming all the way back up to the top where you stalled out at 188. So that is what I'd be watching on IWM, but guess what? I mean, if you caught the move from down to here, all right, you caught the middle of the move. You don't need to catch, you know, the end and the beginning of the move. You just need the bulk of the move there. So, you know, if you got the meat and potatoes there, you know, just do what you got to do. Just do what you got to do. That is something that, you know, it'll give you less stress. All right. All right. So I think that is pretty much it. I will wrap things up with that. And yeah, that wraps up today's analysis. Remember, these are just my insights based off of technical analysis. You know, you got to do your own research. This is my research, all right? You're coming along for the journey. This is what I will, and I'll be here, guys. I will consistently update you when I am seeing things on the chart. But just know, I mean, you guys have a duty yourselves to continuously also do, you know, your analysis on the chart. And if you're not doing that and you're just following along with people, it's probably never going to be a game where you're able to catch up and do things for yourself eventually. So just do yourself a favor and, hey, all right, do what you got to do. Do your own research. There you go. If you did find this video helpful and want to stay updated with the daily market analysis, as well as these weekly updates, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell. All right. And if you did appreciate this video, all right, and you thought like, hey, all right, this guy is pretty cool. All right, we got a thing going here. Feel free to share. All right, I would definitely, I would appreciate that, and it would help us reach, again, more people to, you know, that are interested in the market and stuff. Also, leave a comment if you want. Let's do a little trivia question. All right, bananas or blueberries, which are better? All right, daily trivia here on the channel. That is what we'll start doing. All right, so bananas or blueberries. Comment what your favorite is down below, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.